kind of inherently make fun of themselves.
There wasn't so much you could say about it. You were kind of like, well, this is stupid.
What are you going to do?
Oh, we're live, man.
Oh,
dang.
Yeah. Yeah, hello. We can always just cut this part out, you know.
I was just trying to get to my microphone.
Hello. Hello, Internet.
Oh,
I'm going to scoot up ridiculously far and cover up Sean.
Oh, okay, perfect. Yes.
16-18 for me.
Swear it wasn't intentional.
What are we talking about again? Was it?
What did you say?
The growing up thing?
Growing
All
up.
right. Cool.
Look where we are now.
Look where we are. Hi,
There's
Mom.
so many things I can say.
I went back, actually, a couple nights ago, I'll say this for the show, but I went through and found a whole bunch of my, like, papers and essays and stuff from high school, like, in the high school folder, and I was like, let's see how I was. And, like, going back and reading them, I was like, dang, I'm a smart guy. Like, this is brilliant. You remove yourself a couple years, and you go back, and it's like you never read it. And some stuff I was like, oh, I would do this differently now, or I wouldn't word it like this, or, like, that's BS. But most of it, I was like, all right, Sean.
See, I can't do that. It just gives me
Legit.
anxiety because I hated high school.
Like, it's not fun to go back and read old things from high school. It's like, I don't want to remember. We're just kind of keeping that, like, 4 years in a bubble that we
Yeah.
don't talk about.
Like last time I was home, I found like a whole folder of like high school stuff, and I read one and then threw the rest
No.
out.
Burn
Yeah,
it.
I just threw the whole
I
folder
don't know
out.
if I still have that stuff. Like, I feel like that's weird.
And is not a pack
Just keep
rat.
a file
No.
of all your high school stuff.
No, I'm not.
I'm really not.
Keeping personal papers. What?
Anna doesn't keep anything.
She's off the
Friends.
grid.
This
No
is
birth
not-
certificate.
Phone numbers. And it isn't like anyone.
41 seconds.
It's true.
41 seconds. The first 3 years sucked, and then senior year was cool. I remember that.
Why this suck?
I don't know, I just like, I was working so hard, and then senior year I was like, dude, I'm good. Like,
senioritis on.
seriously.
I need to make sure not to chew obnoxiously.
Shout out to my grandma, by the way.
Hi, Kyle's grandma.
Grandma Holly, how are you, ma'am? Can't really respond.
So,
So, sorry.
We're just waiting for a response. But, you know.
So if she wants to call into the show, we'll have her on. We should have all alerted our grandparents. So
And
we-
we're
Right?
live, listening to WSU 93.7 FM, Lakeland, Florida. And this is Fire Talk, guys. We are in the station with myself, Tori Baird,
Anna.
Sean.
and Kyle.
and today on Fire Talk, we are talking about growing up and growing pains and
How it's different now.
how the kids today won't understand what it's
A
like
lot
to
of
grow
talk
up.
about the 90s.
Back
today.
when I was a kid.
Back when I was
Back when
growing up.
Anna was a kid.
Like 2 years ago.
So growing up, this is gonna be a fun topic. Obviously, this is a college radio show, so I feel like a lot of people are going through that time right now where they're like, "Oh man, I have to adult." You know,
yes.
this adult stuff is kind of tough.
Yes.
So have you guys, have the three of you? I mean, I've kind of had that moment. You know, I'm gonna get married in like 2.5 months. You know, and we just signed a lease on an apartment and stuff. So I'm kind of having that moment where I'm like, oh man, I actually have to pretend like I'm old now or something, you know? I have to be lame. Have you guys had that experience yet? Not necessarily being lame,
Yes.
but...
Yes, definitely. I actually, I have my first bills this semester.
Whoa.
Ooh.
And the other day I looked at my account online and I was like, oh nice, I only have $9 in my account. I should probably fix that.
High five.
So I was like, yeah, just that realizing that you have to always make money. Otherwise, bad things happen. Yeah.
It's a word of warning.
That's solid. Every time I do have these moments, but they're kind of sporadic. Every time I have to buy pants, and I know that sounds a little weird, but think about it. You don't really remember buying pants. Like, they were just kind of always there. And I'm only half kidding, because when you go and I'm like, I just spent like 3 days paycheck just buying khakis.
Seriously.
This day sucks. Like, what am I doing with myself? But, you're in situations where you're like, man, I need a good pair of pleated khakis, and they are expensive. So I have to trade time that I spent working for this pair of pants. it's a weird
Mhm.
situation to me.
Mm.
Tori, what about you?
I think this semester especially, I've had those moments of I was after World's Worst. I don't know if it's actually growing up, but like I don't know if that's happening. But I was I'm thinking after a show on World's Worst, and Lauren had gone up to the office, and I was like our station manager, and I was thinking about next semester, and I was like, oh, we probably might do the show next semester, and I was like, oh, next year I don't know if Lauren will be here, but Sean and I, and then like my brain stopped, and I was like. No, Tori, because you're graduating college, because you're technically an adult now, and you'll be in the world in the fall, and that's horrifying. And so I've definitely had a few of those moments throughout this semester, where I'll just be going about the business, minding my life, and it's like, oh, you have to be a functioning member of society, like a legitimate one that actually has a place to live and food to eat and does something with their lives. And it's scary.
I feel like you never expect that either, because, like, I remember in high school when you're, like, a freshman, you look at the seniors and you're like, they are so old and cool. And then you become a senior and you're like, wow, it doesn't feel the same. It doesn't feel the same as it looked, you know?
This feels like freshman year, except somebody's, like, kicking me out at the end of the year. Like, that's what senior year
You can't
college feels
stay
like.
here.
You can't stay here.
What?
My roommate always says, he's like, I hope someday I can make enough money so I can just stop adulting for a week. And I'm like,
It's called vacation.
it's called
called
vacation.
vacation.
There you go. Which then that gets sad, because it's just like,
That's
oh
so
yeah,
sad.
finally looking forward to my vacation.
Oh,
Got a
gosh.
countdown clock and everything.
That makes me so sad. Like, makes me, like, cry on the inside and outside. It's just sad all around.
That's why you become a teacher. Mm-hmm.
Summer vacation.
Oh, yeah.
That's why
Adventure.
for broadcast stuff,
Hashtag Ed.
get into sports broadcasting, and then you have the off season,
Hey,
right? Go Suns, go!
go Suns, go.
There we go. So, for me, by the way, another thing was actually I just finally finished my resume. Finally finished
Hey.
that. I know, right?
There you go.
Whoa.
And sending that out is like, oh man, that's it. Like that's the feeling. Like, ugh. Not like, yay, I sent out my resume or anything. But just it.
Eh.
I had to work on a resume. I don't know what for. I was applying for an internship, which I did not get. Shout out to the Boston Bruins Foundation. That's fine. I'll see you in May.
Go Bees.
Go Bees. Anyway, and I had to fill out a resume for this, and I was like, man, I'm so busy. Like, I do so many things. Like, this is gonna be easy. I'm gonna flood this. And I sat down to do it, and I was like, how many like meaningful things have I ever done? And then, but in that moment, I was like, shoot, like, I'm old enough for like I need to have done stuff that looks good on a resume, which I think I've done some of that stuff.
Mhm.
But I'm also doing stuff that it doesn't matter worth a darn. Like being vice president of Humans versus Zombies my sophomore year. It's not going to get me in anywhere. It doesn't do me any good. But at the time, I was like, I'm the man for this. Like, I made it. I don't know. I think that's one of those things where you realize, like, what have I been doing? And, like, now what do I need to do? You know what I mean? Because you have to fill those things out, and that will determine a lot.
I realize that every time we have that honors chapel at the end of the year, or the end of the semester, I don't know when they do it, and you go and, like, all those people come up and they've done literally everything
Oh my gosh.
the world has to offer, and I'm like, I really need to get my life in gear. Yeah.
So now that we're kind of all, I would say, teetering on the edge of adulthood, I don't want to say that we're fully there yet, because
Right,
that
right.
makes me sad. But now that we're teetering on that edge, I mean, do you think we need to start to do things that are really, really important, or do we still have time to be the vice president of Humans versus Zombies?
You know what? I had to step down so I could focus on res life. That was the worst part. I stepped away. I think we're in a good place in our lives where, you have to find balance.
Right.
Because it's the people that, especially in a collegiate setting, it's the people that do too much of, like, one thing that are not happy. So it's the people that, like, just act like they're 14 all the time. They, long-term, just are not successful, and most of them aren't even happy. And then it's the people that just bog themselves down with, like, getting so much work done. It's almost like corporate America. You can kind of jump into that early while you're in college. And it's the people that do that, they don't have any fun, and then they're just walking around, for lack of a better word, like zombies all day because they're so tired and they're just so focused on the next meeting. So, I don't know, I think you have to kind of find a happy medium, and that really depends on who you are and where your interests lie.
Yeah, like your personality should be taken into account. Like I think some people, like I know, I have a friend of mine. She works full time at a hospital. She's a nurse, and her main thing is she loves that she only works 3 days out of the week, gets paid full time, and has benefits. And the rest of the 3 days, she's like, it's Tuesday and I'm going shopping. I'm going to downtown farmers market. And I'm like, okay, your life seems very lovely, but I couldn't do what she does because she does like 12-hour shifts. Like when she's working, like she'll text me sometimes and I'm like, I feel very uncomfortable. Like I feel like you shouldn't. I'll like call her, she's like, hey, I can't talk now, I'm working, but what's up? And I'm like, you're a nurse, like you're in like the psych ward, like I feel like we
Save
shouldn't
some
be.
lives.
And hey, are you okay? She's like, oh yeah, they're saving lives over here. I was like, well, stop texting me.
Oh no, I'm just writing an essay in the library.
Yeah, like it's cool. But like for her, this like she feels happy with her life. Like she feels like she has that balance. Where for me, I would feel like stressed out. Like the 3 days I was in the hospital, I'd be like, like no chill whatsoever.
Mhm.
And I think, and if she doing what I did, she would hate everything that I do. She's not that sort of personality. So I think knowing, like praying about it, and like knowing yourself and being like, yeah, just because I am mature. Like I think there's a difference between maturing and becoming I am an adult in corporate America. And like there's a way to be mature and be like, hey, I can have a level-headed discussion. I can be responsible and I can accept responsibility for these things. But at the same time, I'm not going to accept that me being mature and responsible means that I have to stop pursuing things that I'm passionate about.
Mm-hmm. Just quick plug. If you guys didn't really get to see her face, but when Tori kind of just was heavy breathing right there, you should really go to YouTube and search Fire Talk Season 1 to go ahead and watch us live and rewind and see the face that she made because it was amazing. So, having said that though, let's get to kind of the fun stuff about childhood. Yes, Anna's very excited.
I am. It's a good time.
So we can save the adult talk for later or whatever. But first, just what's some of your favorite memories from being as a child? Like for me, like my grandma, she watched. I lived with my grandparents, and she watched a bunch of kids when I was a little kid. So I always just had people over. So it was like a constant thing of like, oh hey, you want to come over? Oh, you're already here. Let's hang out, And like I had one friend that we would tag team to get like the cookies on the counter, so to speak. And she would stand at the bottom on the floor, and she would tell me where to put my hands and feet to climb up to go get the cookies. So those are some of my favorite memories. What about you guys as children?
I saw this meme on Facebook the other day, and it said, "My favorite memory of being a child is not paying bills."
Amen.
Yeah,
Amen.
I thought that was pretty funny. That's not my favorite memory, but
It's up there.
LOL, right?
LOL.
LOL.
Had to do it.
I was one of those kids where like I was raised on a trampoline, and I know that's a weird thing to say, but you ever just drive by somebody's house as a kid and you're like, God, a trampoline.
That was me.
That was me. That was my trampoline. That was my house you drove past.
God.
That
I was
thing.
so jealous of you.
That was everything to me, and I think that's the reason I'm not like fat now or like I have a good metabolism. or something. But that was the best. That was just the best. I remember one time we had a hailstorm, which is super weird for us. We got a lot of snow, but we had like hail, like the size of peas, and it was like July or August.
Aren't you from Maine? Oh, okay, sorry, July or August. Sorry, you're from Maine. And you said it was weird for you guys, so never mind. Keep going.
First of all, New Hampshire.
Sorry.
There's a difference, not a great one.
Go Bruins.
Go Bruins. That's right. New Hampshire. I'm proud of you guys. You're picking up on it. But anyway, it had just hailed, and we took all the hail that had fallen off the roof. So like it was in like big long lines of hail along the ground. So we put it in buckets and we threw it on the trampoline, and it was so cool. Like jumping on the trampoline with hail. It was a lot more. It made more sense at the time. Now that I say it out loud. But it was one of those things I was like, dang, I will buy my kids a trampoline and they will wait for hail and they will have happy lives once there's a hailstorm. I probably sound like a maniac. No, it was a lot of fun.
That sounds legit.
That's awesome. I don't know. Growing up was fun. I was the youngest in my in my entire cousins, great cousins, like you name it. Like I am the baby of the babies of the family.
Oh wow.
And the only granddaughter on my mom's side. So it was like from day one, it was like the uncles and aunts were like, oh my gosh, there's a girl, and lots of like bows and dresses. That kind of explains a lot about how I am today, probably. But my mom would like walk in, like leave me alone with my grandma and my aunt for like 2 minutes. I'm like a year old, 2 years old. She comes back and they have like my hair in like a top like hairdo and like makeup on my face. She's like, what are you doing with my child? But I was always trying to keep up with the boys. You know, like they hated it. It was great. And they were like really rough and tough and tumble. And I was like, yeah, I can do it. I'm gonna keep up with you guys. You're gonna love it. And at one point, we were spying on our neighbors, who were apparently my cousin's neighbors, who, according to them, was like 90% sure he was a Russian mobster spy who was gonna kill us all if he saw us on his grass. Childhood. And so we were all like, you know, down, like crawling on the ground, and everyone had a stick but me, and I was very upset, and I had lost my stick, and we were like looking, and I was like, he's like, oh my gosh, he's right there, and he had leaned up on the grass, and I was like, oh my gosh, I really want to see him, like I want to know what he looks like. And so I started to get up, and then they like freaked out, so I went back down, and the grass was like super itchy. And I was like, guys, I can't do it. And so I got up, and he, like, took his stick. I was probably, like, 8. And he, like, whacks me on the back of my head with the stick. And he's like, Tori, get down. He will see us and kill us all. And I was like, I'm so sorry. And then I got mad, and I ran away. And I told my parents, and then he got in trouble.
So this is Tori's favorite childhood memory.
Getting hit in the back of the head with a stick.
And we're all friends now.
So I didn't really tell one. Am I allowed to go again?
No.
Yes.
I guess
Okay.
so.
Okay.
Here on 93.7 FM.
So, I am an identical twin, for those of you who don't know me.
Which I just recently found that out right after the show.
Yes.
Tara actually sent me a picture. So just so you know,
That's so
Tara
funny.
stalks her Facebook.
I actually have a picture of her on my phone, and everyone's always like, why do you have a picture of yourself on your phone? And I'm like, it's not me, guys.
You're prideful.
Why did you
Prideful.
Photoshop yourself
Love
next to
16,
yourself?
18,
But anyways, I was a really serious kid, like straightforward, and I was actually really bossy too, and like my sister was the total opposite, and so we would always play Barbies and stuffed animals and stuff together, and she's always been really musical too. She's a music major actually, and when we would play, she would always take her character, and like they would have a 5-minute like monologue of her singing something about what's going on in the story, and I would get so mad. Like, I would literally, like, throw my stuffed animal down on the ground and be like, if you don't stop singing, I'm not gonna play with you, and, like, storm out of the room, and then she'd come running after me like, no, Anna, I won't sing, I promise. Like, we can just play the game. Like, that was literally, like, every day. I was such a manipulator. Like, always get my way. I mean, I'm not like that at all now, but, you know. Back then, those were the days.
Back in the good old days.
Back in the good old days. I still hate musicals, by the way.
Really?
Like, when people sing too long, I'm like, get to the story. Like, yeah, I don't know.
Does your sister still love them?
Yes! Yeah, she still sings randomly all the time. Yeah.
So obviously you have a sister, and Tori, you have brothers, correct?
One brother.
One brother. Sean, are you an only child?
Oh, absolutely not. The other McKennies are very big contributors to my life. It's my sister Molly, who is 16, my sister Kaylee, who is 13. Oh my gosh. And then, I don't like that one. And my brother Owen is 9.
Okay, so you're the oldest.
I am the oldest, and that made for like its own separate category of things that could happen.
So I'm the oldest of, I have 5 half siblings, and then the oldest one is 16, I believe, and then the next is like 11 or something. And but I grew up with my aunt, who's like 26 now. She's kind of like a sister to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like I don't know, I'm in a weird mix or whatever. But obviously, Sean, you just kind of went, oh my gosh, you know, like my sister's 13 or whatever. How is it to have siblings, to kind of see them grow up? You know, obviously, Anna, your sister's the exact same age.
I have a lot more siblings.
And Tori, you know, you have older siblings, but how is it to kind of see where their life is at now, especially if they're younger? I mean,
right.
Sean, that's going to be crazy, but, you know, how is that?
It's super weird because you see them like repeat some of the same patterns that you were in. Like, we all go to the same school, like K through 12 kind of thing. So my sister now has some of the exact same teachers I had going through high school.
Right.
So like she'll text me at like 1 in the morning, like almost done this paper. And I remember what that was like. Like it was a prep school. It was very hard. And I can remember doing the same thing, and it's super weird. And then like my brother will come home and be like, "Oh hey, I worked on like this project about bugs or animals or whatever." And I'm like, "I did the same one, like the same thing." It's been like it's like a 10-year gap, and they've not changed the curriculum. But it is super weird because I can remember coming home from school last year, and I was like, "Dang!" Like my oldest sister, not the 16-year-old one. It was crazy, like, how much she had grown. I don't want to sound like an old man, but it made me feel like that. Like, I got home, and she was, like, really funny. Like, she was saying stuff, and I was laughing, and I was like, what? Like, this is weird. Like, you're really funny now. And it's just super strange to go and see them, like, in some ways, they're, like, exactly like me. It's, like, the same path, and in other ways, not at all. Like, in high school, I wasn't a slacker, but I wasn't always doing my best. Like, I always found a way to goof off. And my sister's, like, the opposite. Like, she works her butt off. She's got, like, straight A's. She's like a manager in the volleyball team. She does all this crazy stuff. I did like 2 plays a year and tried to maintain like an 81 average. So it's just weird to see them how sometimes they're really similar and how sometimes they're really different.
Mm.
It's been interesting. My brother's 3 years older than me, and he got married 2 years ago. Almost 2 or 3. 2 or 3 years ago. I remember that.
At some point.
Yeah. And that was a really weird moment because we had, like, always growing up, like, his room had been, like, right beside mine. He and I were, like, best friends growing up, which was weird. Like, I wasn't with my cousins, but my brother and I, like, when he was dating this girl, and, like, all throughout, he would come to my room at, like, 11 o'clock at night and be like, "Okay, Tori, so Jamie just sent me this text message, and, like, what do you think? Like, I haven't heard, or I haven't heard back from her for a couple of days, like, read this, tell me if this is upsetting, like, did I say anything wrong?" Like, and we just think, we talk about, we talked for hours, like, we were, like, super close like that, and, I remember, like, the night, like, his last night in the house, like, when he was getting ready to move out, I was, like, because I used to, like, always, like, I was a wonderful younger sister, and I would always wake him up super early on, like, Christmas and things like that, like, 4 in the morning, even, like, when we were older, just to bug him. At that point, I was just bugging him. I'd just sit in his chair and, like, just talk to him while he's trying to sleep until he decided I wasn't leaving. And I'd be like, "Hey, Wes, oh my gosh, it's Christmas. Can you believe it's Christmas? I'm so excited. Oh my gosh, can you believe it?" And he's like, "Go to bed." And finally, like, an hour and a half into it, he'd be like, "Oh my gosh," and turn on the light. And it was a wonderful tradition that I held very near and dear to my heart. And so we were, like, talking about that, and the night before he left, he, like, wrote me a letter, and he's like, "This is just, like, no," and it's just really sweet, like, I still have it, and it was just like, "You're always, like, gonna be, like, my best friend, and I'm gonna miss you guys," and I'm like, "Ugh." And it was just, so it's interesting, it was cool seeing him go from being, like, my brother, best friend, goofball, to being somebody's husband, and see him be, like, really sweet and, like, mature, and I'm like, this is just messing with my head. Like, someone finds you romantic, and this is super uncomfortable for me. Like, and she's like, "Oh, you're so cute," and I'm like, okay. Like,
if you think so.
If you want to marry him, I mean, but, like, it's just an interesting dynamic.
It's funny, I kind of had a similar thing. Like I was saying, my aunt is kind of like a sister to me, and a lot of the things that I like now are because of her. I like WWE wrestling because of her. Austin Powers Goldmember, best movie ever because of her. A lot of the music and stuff. But so I had the same thing when she got married, and then she moved to like Montana, like out of all the places.
Whoa!
LOL.
But it was kind of the same thing. Like I remember her, moving out, like first just to an apartment in the same city and everything. Then she's like, "Oh yeah, we're moving to Montana." And then I was like,
Did she really move to Montana?
She really moved
to
Montana.
Oh my gosh, where at?
Where does she live in Montana?
It could be either one of the 2 cities. Like,
Yeah.
you know this.
I probably know her.
I'll have to ask her.
Okay.
So I don't waste time trying to think of it. But
yeah, you're right.
I'll send a text after I'm done talking. But yeah, no, it was crazy because I live in New York, so it was like, no, don't go, And then, I mean, this isn't a sibling thing, but then I went down to Florida, and then my mom moved to Seattle, Washington.
Oh my gosh.
So we're just kind of spread all across the country, but I mean, I guess I can kind of go into a question from there. I mean, growing up, you have people move, you have friends move, family move. How do you deal with stuff like that? Like, I mean, how do you deal with? I mean, it was rough for my aunt to go move to Montana, and
Sure was.
yeah, and then it's crazy that my mom
Rough land.
lives in Seattle, Washington. You know, I haven't seen her for all since I've been in college, so I haven't seen her for like 3 or 4 years.
Oh wow.
So how do you guys cope with that? You know, or how would you tell other people to cope with that if you haven't experienced it yourself?
Just to put a quick plug because I didn't say anything.
To Montana?
No, to my siblings. I actually have 8 siblings. FYI.
Do you really?
Cray.
I feel like I learn so much about your
Yeah.
family every show.
I have 5 older siblings, twin sister, and then 2 younger siblings. So yeah, that's pretty crazy. But all of my family lives in Montana in the Northwest. So I have one aunt that lives down in Florida, and so I think it's definitely crazy being so far away, and like the busier I get here, the more the more nostalgic I get. Like, I remember, like, things remind me of something that happened back home, or, like, someone's never seen snow before, and I'm like, oh, I miss snow, kind of, even though not really. And, like, stuff like that, you know, and it's difficult. But I think learning to cope, I'm just so distracted right now, wow. Learning to be, it's made me a stronger person, definitely. I don't know if you can attest to that, but being able to be an independent person so far away, it makes you a strong person, because you have to deal with your emotions, you have to deal with the situations you go through, you have to learn how to go find help, like, not just go, hey mom, so you should figure this out for me.
Well, yeah, that's what's crazy. My grandparents are still up in New York, and my first year of college I was in Pennsylvania, but then I came all the way down here to WSU 93.7 FM
Nice.
in Florida. Hey!
Shout out.
So that is crazy. And same thing with my fiance. We both came from New York down here, and it's weird because, you know, like you were saying, you can't just say like, hey mom, you know, for me, hey grandma, grandpa, whatever. I mean, although I did ask my grandma the other night, I was like, hey, can I use your credit card to buy pizza? I was like, I'm poor and hungry. She's like, don't you have a meal plan? I was like, Grandma, you're missing the point. She let me do it, so I love you, Grandma. But no, it's weird because I love the poop out of my family. Seriously, I love them so much.
Yes.
I love them something fierce.
Yeah.
And I miss them a lot, but at the same time, it has made me, you know, grow up and you know, have to become more independent and kind of deal with things. You know, myself, without having them as a backing. For you guys though, you know, some of you obviously have come a long way to Southeastern. Tori, you're from Florida, correct?
I am.
Okay, so you're the closest to Southeastern from the 3 of us. But we'll start with you on this one, I think. And then we'll follow down the line. What has it been like coming to college? You know, going away from home, going away from your siblings, from your parents, and you know, going to college in a different city, and for most of us, a different state.
It's been such a cool experience. I think I always wanted to go away. Like, I wanted to, like, and I had to always, like, explain to my parents, like, my whole family were really close, and I had to explain to my dad, like, I'd be like, I can't wait to go away to college. And I'm like, it's not you. It's not you guys.
It's not you.
It's not you,
me.
it's me. I just don't want to stay in this city anymore. Like, I know what's here. I know the college is here. Mm-hmm. My dad actually taught part-time at USF, and he's like, they have a great theater program. I can get you a free college tuition. And I was like, yeah, but I know that school. I don't know. I just was weird. I probably, and I'm out 9 months, I'm going to regret not taking that. But it's been so cool to kind of, I think to me it's the perfect distance away where I can be on my own and I can have my own breathing space and grow and make those decisions, but I can also, like, go home on weekends if I really want to see them. Yeah, things like that.
I would say for me, one big pull for, not for coming all the way to Florida, but for going somewhere other than home is, growing up, okay, and I don't know if any of you are twins out there, but when you look exactly the same as someone, most people don't know your name. So, like, growing up, literally, I would say 60 to 70% of people, like, had no idea if I was Anna or Shanna, and so I just, like, it was a really big, especially in, like, middle school, when you're, like, forming your identity and going through all these identity crises. Like, I I hated it. Like, I hated the fact that I couldn't establish myself as an independent person that had independent gifts and talents. And, like, I did music for a long time as a kid, and then my sister was, like, really pushing for that to go into it, and I was like, oh gosh, I gotta find something else to do. And so I started going to, like, improv stuff, and I actually still do that now, so, you know. But, coming to Southeastern, it was, like, I'm not gonna lie, it was like Proverbs 16:18. It was a little prideful of me. Like, I really loved that everyone knew my name. You know, like, I'm Anna. Wow, no one thinks I'm Shanna. No one calls me Shanna here. Like, no one gets me confused with anyone except sometimes Shelby Vaughn. And so, like,
that's a sore topic for you. It all makes sense now.
So I think that's one of those things that was like, yes, but at this point, like, being, you know, 2 years in, I'm like, you know what? I'm kind of okay with being confused with Shannon, so we've decided we're going to be next door neighbors in, like, 2 years. 2 years straight up.
That's solid. Yeah. Leaving home was like a huge deal for me because no one in my family has ever gone off and gone to college thing. Like, there have certainly been members of my family that, like, went and took classes or, like, did, like, a UNH, University of New Hampshire, sort of a thing, but it was never this experience of going, doing college, coming back, and then figuring it out from there. So, like, I was the first one to do it. So it was really weird for us, and I'm very, very close with my family. Like, super close. Like, I probably don't talk to them as much as I should, but I always try to, make an effort. We Skype a lot, always texting my sister, calling home every now and then. Just, it is what it is. So leaving was super weird. And it's had its good moments and its bad moments. Like, I remember my dad dropped me off. It was like his truck was broken down, and so we went into the Chartwells for lunch, and he gets a call from the mechanic. He's like, "Oh, son, the mechanic's here. I love you. Good luck at school. Goodbye." And he walked out, and that was it. And I don't fault him for doing that because the mechanic was there, and if they didn't get it taken care of, he wasn't getting back. Anyway,
Aww.
so it was like that, and I just sat in Chartwells at that stupid bar next to the pizza watching Sports Center, and I was like,
You would sit there.
Yeah.
Sucks. Like, this is not a... Can I say that in the air? I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. My sibling's going to watch this, and I'm going to hear about it for using that bad language. I'm sorry. Anyway, I was like, this is not good. I don't like this. Like, now what? Like, what do I do now? And so that was hard. And coming in and meeting new people, like, I'm certainly a friendly, social guy, but the culture shock was a problem for me. And I probably sound crazy saying culture shock in Florida, but it's weird. It's weird. I come down here and everybody's touching me.
There's water everywhere.
And some of you guys just have lakes just to have lakes. There's like alligators and like no one's even a little bit bothered by that. Everything here is designed to kill you. Well, no, it's cool. We won't talk about that. No one can drive. It's flat. It's flat. If you stand in Miami and squint, you can see Jacksonville. Like the whole thing, it's just weird. And that was like the biggest thing for me. And I'd call home, and it was like back to this old universe. Like everything made sense again. I'm trying to think of an example, but okay, here's one. First call meeting, freshman year, first semester, come in, talking to this girl. She did a lot of radio stuff. I'm just trying to find out more information. Took me all this time to finally join radio, so thanks to her.
93.7 FM.
WSU, your 5 station. And anyway, she was like, we were just talking, and she's like, I'm really sorry. I can't understand anything through your accent. Oh, man.
Right.
I was like, you're out of your mind. All of you have accents except for me. And I don't know, the whole thing was just really weird for me. But at the same time, there were a lot of like really positive moments. Like last semester, I was hungry, and I was like, boy, I'm hungry. I'm going to go grocery shopping.
Ooh.
So I got in my truck, and I drove to the grocery store. I went to Publix, where shopping is a pleasure,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to up north, where shopping is not a pleasure.
Nope.
And I go in, and I'm buying stuff, and I'm feeling myself, and I take out my phone, and I was like, hey, Mom, guess what I'm doing? I'm grocery shopping. I'm doing it. Look, I'm independent. So that was cool. Obviously, that's not independency, but all that to say, it's cool because it's given me like a whole bunch of moments where like I swear to you, I'm on another planet. Everyone keeps touching me and looking at me, leave me alone, and then I'm used to it now. It's all right. Now I'm a pretty physical guy. And then there were other moments where I was like, hey, like I'm doing it. Like I'm doing my thing. I'm far from home. It totally stinks, but I'm like seeing improvement in my life.
Real quick to just backtrack, Bainville. Bainville, Montana.
Bainville.
Bainville.
That must be really small because I've never heard of it.
Oh, wow. She asked where you were from.
Great Falls, the
Whoa.
third or second biggest city. I don't know. Not that hard to do in Montana.
So what I was going to say, and also to say something off of what Sean said, do you have any Wegmans in New Hampshire? Do you have a Wegman? Do you know what a Wegmans, like the grocery store?
Wegmans?
No.
Wegmans?
What the heck is that? A
No.
Wegman?
Wegmans?
Is it like Publix but in the north?
We have literally one place and it's called Market Basket.
We have Wegmans, and
Oh my
if
gosh.
anybody has ever heard anything about Wegmans, it's probably because they're always rated one of the #1 companies to work for. And they actually only have a 4% like people like quitting or whatever that's called. Is that
You work for
retention?
them?
No, I did not.
Oh.
But I love Wegmans. It's amazing. Sorry, I got upset about the Publix thing because I hate Publix.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we
I
haven't
see.
had
Wow.
Wegmans yet, I guess.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's your starting point.
So
Road
Right.
trip.
Um, yeah, we'll have to road trip to Wegmans. There we go.
Okay.
Anyways, no. For me though, I kind of experienced almost like the culture shock as well. A lot of people joked like I had an accent, but I was like, no, all of you guys do. I don't know what you're talking about. But now that I've been away from it, like if I hear an upstate New York person talking, I'm like, oh my gosh, I immediately know
Yes.
like you're from upstate New York. But yeah, it was crazy because you guys came from like the snow and stuff and just weird upstate New York things that no one understands because they only know the city of New York. To here where like a lake is not unusual, whereas like up in New York it's like, oh, we're going to the lake house this week. My grandparents have a lake house or something, you
It's
know?
a destination,
Yeah.
not a normal feature. It's not a landmark. Like it's a big deal.
You can actually swim in it and not get eaten by an alligator.
I know. I'm a little salty
Mm.
about that.
Or an amoeba.
Yeah, or an amoeba.
Opening a big can of worms here.
Don't get me started. Don't get me started about Florida water.
Some algae, yeah.
Mm.
Pond scum.
I love it though. I love all the ducks though that just wander campus. Although because of construction, I feel like they've been like they lost their homes.
I
I
call
know.
them the Duck Squad.
Whoa, LOL.
Oh,
So we're kind of coming towards the end a little bit. We still have a little bit of time, but just kind of bringing it back full circle, adulting. You know, becoming an adult, teetering on that edge. How do we really make that leap from that college age, not necessarily immaturity, but almost that college immaturity, to becoming a full blown adult, paying bills, having a house, and having a job. What does that transition look like? Or do you think it's even worth it to have that? Do you think it's always good to remain a kid at heart and not get a job or something?
I think I mean, like I said earlier, I think the balance is good. Like, I think, having a job is a beneficial thing. It helps you with growing in society and, not being alone. And, money is, like, it sucks, but you kind of need it to live. But at the same vein, like, I think, like with anything, if you make that your only goal, like your goal is I want to just go make a lot of money. Like, if you're good at what you do, you probably will succeed. But what type of are you trying to like make a? You're trying to make a living. You're trying to make a life. Like, you can tweet that if you feel so led. So,
Just
at DSF.
yeah, yeah, that's
Sorry.
that's pretty much all I had. Like, just like thinking about how you feel about what your priorities are, sorting those out. What define what success is to you, and then just set about trying to achieve that instead of being like, oh, society says I have to have a picket fence and roses and a dog and
Yeah.
Things like that.
To bring in some biblical integration, I don't remember exactly where it is, but it says, "In everything you do, work at it with all your heart, as to the Lord and not to men." And I always remind myself of that when I start to get kind of lazy, especially because sometimes I know I can do a certain amount of work and get an A in a class or get a good grade and not actually be becoming the best person that I can be, with taking advantage of my education, which is what we're focusing on right now. But even as you go into your career and stuff, I think that always keeping in focus that God is the one who's given us the opportunities we have, the gifts we have, the money we have, whatever it may be, and that we should always take advantage of it. But like Tori said, you always have to find balance, because if you overwork yourself, then you can't do anything. And so definitely finding that balance, but making sure that you have the right heart and that you're not being lazy.
Yeah, I think the balancing is really important,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a lesson that I saw a lot and learned a lot from in my dad. He would, and still does, bust his butt to provide for his family, like whatever you got to do. Responsibility was always first, but there was always that sense of like every day can be cool that we see in him. Like I remember this one time, I looked out the window and it's like a thunderstorm. My dad's standing in the middle of the lawn, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" So I go out to like make sure he's okay. I was like, "Dad, like, what are you doing? Like, you're just standing in the lawn. Like, you all right?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm just looking at it." I laughed at first, but it was like a really profound moment, because you're like, you never know how many more of these you're gonna get. And he just stood there and just listened to the thunder and watched the lightning kind of rolling in the distance, and then we came in. But that was really impactful. And I can remember, as a kid, there would be days where he would just wake us all up and say, "Hey, we're all going sledding today," and that was it. And he'd take me and my siblings and a couple of our buddies, and we'd just spend the whole day sledding. And then we came home, built a huge snow fort, and I remember very distinctly eating Pringles in it. Like, that was a good day. But because, like, he knew the line of, like, you have responsibilities and you have roles and like, things you have to do as an adult, you can also, like, not have to lose that childlike sense of wonder and appreciation for the world and every day that you're given. Mm-hmm. So I think you have to take the good things that come with being a kid, and then, definitely add those on as appropriate values and important virtues as you try to own the responsibility of being an adult.
I gotta just say this. My grandparents are amazing. They're the coolest people ever. They're cooler than any people that are listening to their grandparents, okay? So, yeah, take that. But no, like, my grandparents are really cool, and growing up, my grandpa was always a big kid, is what we called him. Just from a lot of things. You would love, he has, like, a big old sports room, got a bunch of he's into NASCAR, into football, into baseball, so he's got a bunch of, little figures and little cars and stuff, and it's just, he collects that kind of stuff. And but also he used to be in bands back in the day when he was in his 20s. So when I was in high school and was like in a band, he's like, "Oh, that's so cool," and
Mm-hmm.
so it's so cool. And then just the wisdom he always imparted in me. He always, literally every single day when I was a kid, he would always say to me, "Learn, grow, be all you can be." Mm-hmm. And then when he dropped me off here at school, he said that, and we both cried and "Love you, man." Shout out to Rick Holly, coolest dude ever. But so it was cool though, because he obviously worked and did a lot of hard work for our family and to provide for our family, but always had fun. I mean, always went on vacations and. My grandma was the one that would ride roller coasters. I'd be a kid. Like, my grandpa did water rides. My grandpa did water rides, and my grandma would do roller coasters. Yes. So that was so cool. We'd go upside down and everything. And actually, just recently went to Universal, and my grandma's still doing roller coasters with my fiance and I.
You do have the coolest grandparents.
They are the coolest. So just growing up, having that as an example of. Obviously, I have to work for my family, obviously getting married soon, and eventually I do want kids, and being serious and actually making career goals, but also having fun. Mm-hmm. I love having fun. Yes. That's why I love work. If you watch our last episode, which if you haven't been able to see it, go to YouTube, search Fire Talk Season 1, mm-hmm. and you can see our whole episode about unplanned improv. And that's why I love stuff like that, because you guys are just having fun. Mm-hmm. So kind of our last question, and this is kind of a fun one. First, what are your career goals? What are your career goals after this? Mm-hmm. And it's kind of a two-part question. So just first, we'll go down the line. What are your career goals?
Oh gosh, starting with the senior.
What are you doing next, kid?
When I graduate, I think I'm going to figure out how long I have to work to raise enough money to go out to LA. I have a friend of mine who I was talking about, kind of playing it safe and going to Chicago. Kind of like that happy in between. I'm kind of in a big city and there's going to be work, but And my friend who like used to go to school here was in town, and I was talking with her, and she's like, well, I'm looking for a roommate, and I'm in LA, and I'm going to need a roommate in LA in the fall, and you should do that. And I was kind of like, or I guess I could not be a scaredy cat and actually, you know, take the plunge and just jump into it. So for me, it's applying to different improv schools in LA and
That's so cool.
trying to work and get agents and not just talk the talk, but actually be like, hey, this is what I want to do, and I'm actually going to do everything in my absolute power that, like, I can do as long as I'm praying about it, and I still feel like that's where God's calling me, and I still feel that's where the doors are opening.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to stop running 150 miles per hour towards that, as long as there's doors. So
when you become famous, just remember, everybody, she started here at 93.7 FM, WSCU.
He'll do anything for a plug. But yeah.
That's awesome.
Cool. So Anna, what are your career goals?
Alrighty, this is such a good question. Okay, so I'm actually a secondary English education major, and I love English. I love reading. I love writing. Initially I want to teach, probably in Florida because that's where I'm going to be certified. But honestly, I'm willing to go anywhere. I'm a very spontaneous person, so I like to move around. Hence Montana to Florida, anyways. So, but I'm really, really, really passionate about literacy. I don't know. It's one of my burdens when I hear about kids or even adults who have never had the opportunity to read or write, either because of their financial situation, because of the country they live in, because of the religion they're in, whatever it may be. In my opinion, literacy is a human right, because learning to read and write, and you can read stories about people who learned, for example, Frederick Douglass, and it literally opens their mind to understanding, and it allows them to be able to read the Bible, to pick their own beliefs and not just be dictated by what other people have told them. Anyways, that was a long tangent, but that's what I'm passionate about, and so I definitely want to work with that, whether it be in teaching in prisons or in overseas or even here in the U.S. That is what I want to go after, and helping people achieve that human right. Yeah,
that's awesome. I'm just very glad I get to go after that. I am a good old broadcast major at Southeastern, so I really like that field, but I'm not sure where I want to go with it. And I think I'm just going to be one of those people that has a lot of jobs just because there's a lot of things I want to try and be able to do. I really like news media. That's awesome. I love radio. I think this is terrific. Thanks for tuning into WSU 93.7, your fire station, Lakeland, Florida.
Go to youtube.com and search Fire Talk Season 1 to watch us live and watch past episodes.
Honestly, I feel like I'm kind of a right-brain person. I would love to be in a position where I could just come into work and just get to be creative all day and just make stuff happen. I love TV. I love radio. So who knows? Maybe I can work something out there. I don't really know. Just whatever I end up doing, just getting to the point where mentally I just want to be the best that I can be at it.
that's awesome.
I guess that's my career goal. Not starving and doing a good job.
So my career goal is go Suns go. I want to be the television director for a hockey team in the NHL. So hopefully the Tampa Bay Lightning, so I can stay in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
But the Ottawa Senators, I mean, come on.
Hear good things about them.
I hear really good things about them, Or the Bruins.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. But so this is the really fun one. What are your dream goals? So you have your career goals, but what's your dream job? Totally it could or couldn't happen. For me, I want to direct the television broadcast of an Olympic hockey game. That is my absolute dream top goal. From there, if I did that, I'd be like, all right, I can die now.
Mm-hmm.
So what's your guys' absolute dream job goal?
Man, if I could just be whatever right now, I would take the opportunity to be the public address announcer for the 17-time world champion Boston Celtics. I'm telling you, man, I would do that so fast. I keep looking into it. The guy that does the job, his name's Eddie Palladino. Eddie, I'm coming for your job, dude. If you ever retire, I'm gonna be right there. knocking on Danny Ainge's door. But that would just be the best. I love the team. I love PA announcing here at the school. There's just something about connecting with the fans, like getting the whole city charged up. It would just be the best.
And you got the voice for it, obviously.
That's, hopefully this is my divine design. Like, this is what God made me for. If nothing else, he made me to like it.
He made you for this purpose.
Exactly.
Good one. Okay, so do you guys want my funny one or my serious one?
We'll take both. Why not?
Okay. So I guess like my funny goal that's like obviously not something that I'm pursuing would be I would love to be a stand-up comedian. Like that would be so odd. Like every day you would just get to go make people laugh.
Also, if Anna gets famous from being a stand-up comedian, she started here on 93.7 FM WSC.
Yeah, but my serious goal that, could possibly happen, but it would be like a huge stretch. I would love to be, you guys are going to think I'm insane, all you comm majors. Anyways, I would love to be in the Middle East, secretly teaching people to read and write, and my life on the line, and like possibly be martyred for God.
Man, I feel really lame now.
No, don't feel lame. Don't feel lame.
Like,
I feel lame when I say that because I feel like I'm like manipulating people. Like, look at me, I'm so spiritual. So
I'm like, I want to direct hockey.
Oh my!
I'm like, this is my favorite sport ever.
We are the body of Christ.
I'm not answering
we all
now.
fulfill it. No,
I'm not answering
See,
now.
that's why I didn't want to say.
Anna, you should have gone last.
You should
Oh my
have
God.
last.
Jeez.
Show's
So,
over.
Tori, how are you going to follow that up?
I'm
What's your
done. Next
Show's
question,
over.
please.
I did not mean like.
No, I don't know what this says about my likelihood of ending up on ramen noodles for the next 2 years, but my dream goals are really not that different from what I just described. I think for me, there's something about performing and film that is just like film. I never would have thought that I would have liked film, and I ended up on a film set helping a friend freshman year in a film they didn't have a girl for. Happens a lot, actually.
Yeah.
Were you in the credits like girl number 1? Was that it? Or?
It was actually
Tori Baird as girl.
it was actually girl, but it was a silent film. It was a silent film with Jordan
Oh, yes.
Lindenroth.
Oh
Okay.
my gosh.
You would do
Shout
great.
out.
It's called
Yeah.
"Is This Seat Taken?" And it was it was an experience. But I love the artistic process and all of that, and like dream goals would be like getting to do something with like SNL. Even if I was like
That'd be cool.
girl 2, Tori Baird in the back of the classroom who like throws a spitball, that would be like end goals. Like I would be like that's on my resume. That's gonna be the only thing on my resume. Like I'm gonna go like send an agent my resume to be like SNL random skit girl 2. Like that's just things like that. Doing films. Doing something, because for me the arts are meaningful and the arts are impactful and lasting, and if I had the opportunity to make one film that was, because it's weird, I love comedy, I love making people laugh, I love the joy that brings, but when it's films, I love doing impactful, meaningful films, which is like completely opposite, and I'm like, I don't know if there's even a world that exists where people would be okay with someone who was like a complete lunatic and was like, I'm making weird faces and breathing awkward, and then like do like really serious
That
films.
is me.
And then like they're like, oh, but she does really serious films, and I take her seriously, and that's cool.
So would you consider going to LA like you pursuing your dream goals?
Yeah, so that's why I feel I don't know, like an interview question. I feel like going to LA is part of those, like the dream goals is getting to be able to support myself doing what I love. If I'm doing indie films that are impactful and meaningful, and I have money for groceries that aren't 79 cents ramen noodles, and I have a roof over my head, I will feel successful. Like that, like just doing those things that make you feel like you're alive. When you feel more alive than you've ever felt in your life, you should always do everything in your power to make sure that you can continue doing that. And I'm ranting now, so
No,
my
no, no.
goodness.
That is okay.
That's a good rant.
That is okay. That's a really cool dream, because it's a good follow-up to Anna, because you're not just being like, oh, I just want to act. You're like, I want to actually, you're saying you want to do, impactful things, impactful movies. So I think that's really neat. I hope obviously all of us end up with those dream jobs. I hope Sean is announcing for the Celtics and everything.
Someday.
Someday.
Wait and see.
But yeah, so if you're listening on WSU 93.7 FM, we would love to hear about your career goals, your dream goals, your dreams. Make sure you go to YouTube, search Fire Talk Season 1. You can comment below on our video. Thank you guys for listening. I guess just have fun. Have fun, even though you gotta be adult and sometimes
Don't
it stinks.
stress.
Yeah, don't stress. You're gonna get through it. We're sort of getting through it, It's gonna be tough sometimes, but we're doing
We
it.
got each other.
Right.
We got each other until
We-
we graduate.
Generations have done this.
We got a
Yeah.
fire talk.
We have Fire Talk.
We'll always have fire
We'll
talk.
always have Fire Talk.
on YouTube.com and WSU 93.7.
Your
Thank you
fire
guys.
station.
Thank you guys so much for listening. My name's Kyle.
I'm Tori. I'm so sorry.
If you're watching on YouTube, you can see the way we're sitting and we went out of order. I'm Kyle.
I'm humbled.
I'm Anna. Am I loud?
16-14.
16-18.
LOL.
Okay.
We're done.
Hey, everybody have a great day.
What the heck? My bad, guys. Alright. Yo, holy freak! Alright. Alright. I had to be in Chartwell's 3 minutes ago. Alright, man. See you. Punk! I'll see you.
I
See you
know,
guys later.
jeez. Not putting our life on the line.
We are.
Tori, I'm done watching.
Sorry.
To like log off or something.
Oh, yeah. You just have to shut the computer off. Yeah, but I can come do that.
Hey.
I'll be right there. Where did I put my laptop?
Did you